Hiya, I'm Miss L, and you're probably sitting at home thinking, oh, I'm not sure what work I have to do, and oh, I've finished all the stuff that I think I've done, and oh, I don't even know where to start with this project. So, to keep your mind ticking over and to work on a really exciting project that will need little resources, not a huge amount of money, which is a good thing because right now I think we're all feeling the pinch, especially after Christmas. And will also get your creative juices flowing. This lesson is going to help you start to learn skills that will help you if you want to be an actor or a screenwriter or work in the theatre in the future. It will also help you if you want to work in television, in radio or the media, or perhaps you just like writing or creative writing and you really enjoy English. This work will be suitable for anyone from year 10, 11 and up. It is more tailored to our students that are perhaps in year 11 and 12, but you can always go and challenge yourself or make it even harder for yourself and really have a go and learn something new. This whole project is all about radio drama, which to many sounds a bit boring, especially as these days radio drama mostly revolves around the do 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 do. I'm not slating the Archers, it's a classic, and there's lots of listeners day in, day out that love it. But is it suitable to 15 to 18-year-olds? Probably not. And I don't know about you, but I love my Netflix. I love finding a programme on demand that I can watch and enjoy back to back. Something that grips me, because it's easy. And we naturally rely on images, especially in film and TV. We look and see how we're meant to react. And we think about actually what is the lighting telling me as to what this piece is, or what is the character doing that makes me feel that way. What we don't realise is although we might be seeing what's going on, actually our ears are doing most of the work for us. And so what we want to do today is explore sound a bit more, because I want you to think about how powerful sound can be. And actually by getting sound just right, you can create an amazing emotion. So radio really is a great way of storytelling. It helps you to think about how to tell stories in an effective way. And it also means that you don't need a lot of expensive equipment to get your story across. You could spread a story across the world just with your iPhone or your Android device. And that's what we're going to do over the next few lessons. I'm going to teach you how to write, plan, edit, record, and get your radio play out there for lots of your year group and age group to enjoy. So, to do this lesson, you need a paper and pen or a smartphone. If you've got access to Google Docs, it's a free app that you can use, or your notes section on your phone, or a laptop with Word or Google Docs that you can use on there. Again, the notes section on your laptop is fine too. In future lessons, you will need your phone or perhaps a laptop device if you haven't got access to a phone or a tablet. And even more future lessons, you might need some access to household objects like a wooden spoon, etc. But right now, we don't need to concentrate on that. So all you need today is the top line, one of these things. I'll let you pause right now and get ready. Great, let's get on with this. So, what I'm going to ask you to do now is to spend 3 minutes thinking about horror films. You know those films that make your knees a little bit weak, your heart race a little bit faster, and you think, oh my God, I don't know if I can sleep tonight. I want you to think about what sounds you might hear when you're watching a horror film. And I want you to list as many as possible. If you manage over 10, please tweet me at learnwithmsl. I want to know who are the people out there that can identify lots of different sounds, because you are the wonderful ear group. Cool. Have you spent 3 minutes doing that? Have you listed them down? Have a look through your list and think, can you add any more? Great. Let's carry on. So, you're going to learn 2 key words that are going to help you with media, with creative writing, with film studies if you're going to do that in the future, and with drama and other areas as well. And those 2 words are diegetic and non-diegetic. And they're spelt like this: diegetic and non-diegetic. You might want to write these down because I'm going to help you understand what they really mean. And you might be sitting there like this man and thinking, what on earth is she saying? Well, let's look at them. Diegetic. Perhaps we are watching this film right now with this child screaming against a window. Diegetic is anything in that character's world. So that little girl can hear these diegetic sounds. And the audience can hear it too. So, what diegetic sounds might we be hearing if we were a character in that world? We'd hear the child screaming and crying. We might hear dialogue in that room, perhaps the mum and dad saying, no, you go and pick her up and hug her. No, you go and pick her up. Conversation between those actors and characters is part of that diegetic. It's in the world of the characters. Can you see that she's hitting the window? That would be making a noise, wouldn't it? That sort of thing. You might hear footsteps in the room because you can see the characters walking around. That also would be a diegetic sound. There might be TV or radio noise in the background. Again, that's in the character's world, so they know it's happening. You might have the kettle boiling. Again, they've put the kettle on. It's in their world, so it must be part of it. And there might even be a knock at the door. Again, those characters can hear it, so it counts as diegetic. Diegetic is the sounds that are created within what you're watching or listening to that sums up that it's about what's happening in the play or film that you're watching or listening to. Whereas non-diegetic is the opposite. Non-diegetic is what we add to create more emotion, to heighten the tension in the scene, or to explain what's going on. And the non-diegetic sound is only heard usually by the audience. The characters don't normally hear this, and that's why it's non-diegetic. This might be atmospheric music, or it might be a theme tune that you can hear. This could be a voiceover. The girl was slamming against the window. No one could see that Sally was slamming against the window because they were in the other room. That's the voiceover or the narrator that might be your non-diegetic sound. They might have some extra sounds that they've added for effect that wouldn't be in the character's world, but might be something that we add to it to make the audience feel in a certain way. And again, it could have theme music. Can you see that in non-diegetic, there's only a few things that we add, but they can be quite powerful? Whereas in diegetic, in the character's world, the list could be endless, and there could be lots of sounds that the characters and the audience can hear. So what about an aeroplane? We might not necessarily see it in that film, but little Amy might have seen it, and she could hear it, and we can hear it in the film. This still would be diegetic, because actually, if Amy can hear it and the audience can hear it, it still is diegetic. If we added music over the top and Amy can't hear that, then that would be non-diegetic. But an aeroplane in the character's world, as Amy the little girl, flying above her head, still counts as in the character's world. So it is diegetic. It stems from a Greek word that means inside that world, inside that character's world. And so we want to make sure that we are getting all those sounds that count towards her and what she is hearing. So what I'd like you to do now is either use a highlighter or just grab a pen or a pencil and circle which ones are diegetic, and you could maybe underline those that are non-diegetic on your list of horror sounds. Which ones do you think are more horrifically diegetic, and which ones are more thrilling that they're non-diegetic? Have a few minutes just to get that sorted. Maybe you've got more of one than the other. I'd love to know if you've got lots and lots of those diegetics. Feel free to tweet. So your next task I'm going to ask you, that was horror. I want you to think about a romantic comedy. You know those films that are a bit soppy? They usually end up with a marriage at the end, or, you know, they go holding hands as they walk off. There's usually a bit of a conflict in the middle where they've had a fight or they realise they don't love each other. And then boy meets girl or boy meets boy, and they decide that actually they're going to be happy ever after, but there's a few laughs along the way. Think about a scene in that romantic comedy, and I want you to list any sounds you might hear in that, and then also identify which are diegetic and which are non-diegetic. Great. Hopefully you've paused that video right there and you've given yourself time to do those tasks. Let's look at the bigger picture. Why are we doing this? Well, we are starting to identify sounds and thinking about what works in a character's world and what works for an audience, so that we can learn how to write a radio play and then perform, record and edit it in a few weeks' time. And then eventually, when we've finished all that, we'll be able to review it, evaluate it, and think about how we've learnt from our skills and how to develop further. So, this is my big task for you to work on. Think about which genre you would like to use to make your radio play. Is it going to be a horror? Or is it going to be really dramatic? Is it going to be a comedy? Or a thriller? Yeah, I realise that my voices aren't that great. But think about, what would your radio play be about? Would it be a horror? Can you think about how you might have a story that is more horrific than others? Or do you prefer a drama or a comedy? Now I'd like you to help you with this, do a bit of research. Either get onto BBC iPlayer or go and have a look on the TV. And I want you to watch a film or a programme from that genre. Make sure that you stick to your age group. I don't want anyone telling me off. And then I want you to grab your notebook as you do it, and selecting 5 to 10 minutes of that programme or film, I want you to write down the sounds that you hear. What diegetic and non-diegetic sounds can you notice? Once you've done that, I want you to use your research to inspire you. How can you think about what is going to go into your own radio play? What sort of sounds are you going to make sure you include so you stick to the conventions of your genre? Have a little think. This is going to take a bit of time, so I would pause it right now and go and have a go. Brilliant, well done. So this is what your radio play is eventually going to be about. Challenges. I want you to think, what could the storyline be when we're talking about a challenge? Now, you could use personal experience. You could consider what has been a challenge for you. Perhaps lockdown and motivating yourself. Perhaps having a winter break without seeing friends. A challenge might also be being able to win a medal in a certain competition, or doing that really hard game on your computer. I know that what might be a challenge for me might be tidying my bedroom sometimes, but you need to think about what it is for you. Then I want you to think about, if you're not sure of a challenge, what have you been proud of? Has there been a moment where you've gone, oh yeah, I deserve a pat on the back? Something that's made you smile. Because that could be your happy ending. Or you might be sitting there and thinking, I already know what my play is going to be about. And if it's got a challenge element, this is what I'm going to do. I would like you to create a mind map for your play which revolves around yours or your character's challenge and how you or they might embrace it. To help you make that mind map really effective, I want you to also add the sounds that you've been looking at with your genre. So pause the video now to help you with your mind map. And if you skip to the next slide, you'll be able to see what sort of things we might mean. So you might decide to think through your character's ideas or what storyline might be there. You might be at the very basic stage and at the moment you can't think of a storyline, but you want to get your genre conventions in of sound. So if you've gone through a thriller or a horror, is there screams or footsteps or a heart beating really loudly? What might be sound effects that you hear that you're going to add to your mind map? So have a go. This has only been 15 minutes of a lesson to inspire you. I want you to spend a good 15 minutes making the best mind map to plan your ideas. Next lesson, we are going to start thinking about developing those ideas further and then writing a script effectively. And the lesson after that, we're going to look at recording and editing before finally making your radio drama. I hope you had fun doing this. Please do let me know how it's gone and let me see those mind maps and all the fabulous work you're doing by tweeting or messaging me at Learn with Miss L. I want to see how it's all going, and next lesson we're going to bring those ideas that you've done to life. Have a good one and have a good day. Keep smiling and keep working hard.